Today in my hardcore Minecraft world, I'll be transforming this boring old ravine into a beautiful lush river that's teeming with life. So stick around to the end to see how it turns out. And if you find yourself enjoying the video, consider subscribing. This video has taken me close to 20 hours, so I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so before I build the entire river here, I just want to build a little chunk of it to show you guys what I'm working with, how we're going to be texturing it, and how it's all going to come together. So let's hop into a time lapse. Alright, you guys, and here it is, the first little chunk of the river. Now, obviously, yes, I know there's no water in here. Let's get that out of the way first. I want to add the water in at the end here, so there will be some more like seagrass and stuff in here, but I definitely wanted to make this, pretty muddy and then have some of the darker blocks in there with like the soul sand and the soul soil. But I also thought it would be pretty cool to add in some rocks here, like kind of on the bends. So like where you see, it's like fairly straight, but it is kind of built on a diagonal here, which, one, makes it harder, but two, gives us the opportunity to have like these rock beds. Like maybe this isn't the fastest moving river, but like the soils and silts and rocks and whatnot are still kind of like they're getting carried this way out towards the ocean. And some of them are getting caught along the bend. So that's where you kind of see the rock buildups. Then obviously I scattered some sea pickles in around here. But then as those are eventually covered up with the water, the sea pickles are gonna, light up. Or at least they should. But they'll be, a little more sea pickly. As for the edge of the river here, I don't want to do anything with this just yet. I kind of want to wait until the water and everything's in to make that like the lush riverbank, like the edge of the river here, and you'll kind of see similar like foliage to this, because obviously there's a lot of soil that's like nutrient rich and stuff kind of along the edges here, so we're going to have to kind of blend that in, and there'll be a lot of foliage because of that. The next thing I want to tackle is with the mountain right behind me. So yes, the river, it all kind of stems from that waterfall, right? There's water inside of the mountain. But the waterfall itself kind of looks a little right now. I'm not loving it. It just kind of turns into this big blob on the way down. So I'd like to kind of make it feel a little set in the mountain more, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but just check it out. I think you guys will get what I'm going for here. Just making it blend a little bit more, making it feel a little bit more realistic. Alright guys, and that is the source of the river all done. Now, I didn't super finish up this side here, just because I'm kind of running low on resources, and I want to make sure I save time to do the, river itself. But I am pretty happy with this. I like how it still kind of, it like winds its way down here, because I mean, the trickiest part with this is, right, this only comes out, I don't know, maybe like 10 blocks. Like this is pretty steep, so I had to find a way to like balance this, but I think the texturing and everything works, right? And we get some of the mossy cobble in there. It's mostly cobble around the waterfall itself, but you also get some tuff, and even like in some of the darker areas, some basalt, some deep slate poking out there. So I think this also got me excited to like work on and like texture the whole mountain, because I mean, looks pretty cool. Like you could see, I kind of went with this gradient from cobble to andesite into that light gray wool. So this is definitely going to be a highlight. And I mean, it makes sense, right? If we look at the mountain from the side, like this part sticks out pretty far, and we'll probably do some reshaping and whatnot. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I think maybe we could use like this here to do some like dark spots and more shading and kind of blend it into the rest of the mountain. But I think this is a good shape, a good stopping place for now, and I am excited to get back to work. Yeah, and maybe we will tackle this section next, kind of the mouth of the river, I guess, or I don't know. I'm not up on my river terminology. All right, you guys, here it is. Well, not all of it. As you can see, I still have a fair bit to do, but at least this part of the river is done, you know, aside from some bone meal when we get the water in. But yeah, I don't know. I found it actually like kind of easy because if you remember before, this little section was actually just open, like the mountain didn't come all the way down there, but I actually didn't like, I found it easy, not too hard to really bridge the mountain down here. Obviously the water right now is just kind of going down into this little pool. It's gonna pop out down this rock and here, and then this is like where it's gonna kind of fill out like at this level. But yeah, continuing with the kind of dirty, muddy river feel that we have here. And then obviously a lot more like rocks and sediment kind of deposited around the base of the mountain here. Lots of sea pickles tossed into here because I figure this is going to be like the bigger area before it really starts flowing downstream this way. So yeah, there should be maybe a little more plant life and whatnot. I think it would be cool too. I didn't do it yet, actually. Just remember now, but I think it could be cool to kind of blend this in with the rocks a little bit more, maybe do some like custom terraforming here. I don't know if that's a today thing, but at some point. But as you can see, I do still have a ton left to do, especially if we open our world map here. You can see I still have this whole stretch and then this segment as well as the rest of the river here. So I'm gonna get to work and really start knocking some of this thing out. Blocks have been broken, blocks have been placed, and the river is, well, still lacking a lot of water, but it is mostly done here. So you can see I've kind of connected up this area to the section we already had, which this was probably the trickiest part just because it was so, you know, filled with other blocks and stuff. And it's looking pretty cool. I'm really liking it. I'm anxious to get water in and, you know, work on like the edge of the river here. But I also brought down the rest of the pattern here, the texturing, into this little cave. Now, I left this intentionally blank because I think I talked about it earlier, but I want to make this like a big rocky stone archway. So somehow the texturing is going to have to blend into that. And then the same thing goes for this side. So this will be a big like stone, maybe tough, deep slate kind of arch. And then if I fly on over here, I also dug this out. So no texturing here in the part with water, but it is kind of ready for us to go. All right, guys. So I am here working on the river. And as you can see, we've got a lot of progress here. But I figured I'd kind of jump in here and show you what I'm doing, how this is all kind of coming together. So basically, I found the easiest way is to do this in sections or chunks. So kind of think like if you do, if you've ever cleared an ocean monument or like seen somebody like drain one of those, kind of similar how you might section that off with the sand, which actually, now that I say it, I guess I could have used sand for this part here. but well, not exactly, because then what we're gonna do next, since we're flooding it, is we need to cover this top layer with water. So I gotta fill this in and then cover it all up. All right, now that this is all covered up, I'm going to fill it in with water and just hope we didn't make a mob spawner beneath us right now. There have been a couple of mobs down there when I break all this dirt, but you know what? It hasn't been too bad. I'm working pretty quickly, so let's get this all filled up with water. And now that this is all filled up, we're gonna go ahead and break all of this dirt here just to let the water flow down. So it's important that on the top everything is nice and even, because we want to have this all be source blocks on the top, and then I'm going to show you a nice and easy way to get the source blocks there on the bottom too. And before I go ahead and just make everything a source block down here, I like to go ahead and waterlog the sea pickles and slabs that we're using as part of the rocks and boulders here. Now that everything has been waterlogged down here, we're gonna go ahead and just start placing kelp everywhere. That's right, we're gonna totally kelpify this place, because as you can see, these little particles are kind of telling us that not everything is a source block yet. My main reason for doing this is because, well, I don't really want to swim through all these particles. I feel like this kind of takes away from all the hard work I've put into the rest of the river. So it's a bit of a pain, but we're going to kind of kelpify everything, and then we're going to break this kelp to get rid of it. Now's probably also a good time to mention, I kind of forgot about the whole bubble column mechanic with soul sand. So in hindsight, maybe not the best idea to include soul sand, at least on the floor here. But luckily, I've just kind of been covering that up with kelp. And hopefully seagrass can cover that as well, because maybe we'll change it out so we don't have to have as much of this kelp stuff in the river. And with these last few pieces of kelp in place, we have officially kelpified this section of the river. Check it out. Everything but those slabs is nice and covered up. Now comes the more satisfying part. That's right, get to play on the bubble columns, but I also get to go ahead in here and break all the kelp. Now that the kelp's cleared away, the last thing we have to do is connect this up to the rest of the river. And just like that, this section of the river is flowing nice and naturally. So I'll tell you what, why don't we hop into a quick time lapse here and finish up the rest of it? Now that the river is all connected up, all filled with water, I just went in here and added some bone meal into here. Got rid of a lot of our kelp and left some of the bubbles, and I'm pretty happy with this, guys. I think, like, for the inside of the river, I think it's pretty much done. I mean, I do want to make this, like, pretty lush, and I think we've accomplished that on the inside. Like, it is pretty heavy on the seagrass and, you know, little bits of kelp here and there. But I think now we need to start working on the edge of the river. For the edge of the river, I think it's going to be best to kind of keep consistent with what's going on behind me in the Pale Forest. Just kind of keeping it very lush, very mossy, grassy, all that good stuff, just to make sure that we're kind of keeping consistent, but also sticking to the theme that this is a very vibrant, full of life part of our world. So that's what we're going to do now. And here it is, the start, at least, of the lush riverbank. And yeah, this is looking pretty cool, you guys. I mean, I only really did up to here, but I'm pretty happy with this. You know, it's not as colorful as this side, right? Obviously, this is the painted forest. This is supposed to be like very colorful, but still very lush, just like this. So I tried to keep more of the, maybe it'll be easier in free cam here. Tried to keep more of the, you know, bamboo, the sugarcane, and then the custom like little cattails. I did a couple variations, one with the sea pickles, and then one with the brown candles. But I tried to keep those mostly towards like the edge of the water here, and some leaves and like mossy carpets and whatnot. And then obviously as we get farther back, we still have like pretty like high, like a lot of vegetation here. But mostly just like the grass and the ferns and a couple like little bits of bamboo sprinkled in. Same thing to kind of continue down this way here, which obviously I didn't do the whole thing yet, but yeah. And as you saw, the base for this is all moss now versus doing this as all grass. So I think that'll be a little bit easier, a little bit better, and just a little bit like brighter if we have this being all the moss versus like maybe over by the city more, it's still, oh, that's moss too. Bad example, but maybe over, yeah, here by the city, it's more of the grass. But by the river, it's a little bit more vibrant and lush. All right, guys, everything around the river has been put in place. Take a look. It is very lushified here, everything. We got these, ooh, boat's a little choppy, sorry about that. Got all kinds of bamboo. We got some really cool little cattails and stuff. Got the sugar cane, just like I showed you here before. And I think the best way is to see this on a boat ride. I mean, just look at this. You guys, I am so happy with this. And honestly, this project has already taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. Like, a significant amount longer. But I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I mean, just look at this, looking down the river at the mountain. So cool. Like we get the cool view with the forest, and it really blends in nicely to the painted forest here. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like over the moon about this, you guys. But now that that's done, I think it's time to tackle this little archway here, which I've been purposefully avoiding for a long time because I'm not really sure what to do here, but you know what? I have an idea. I have a concept here, and I'm just going to go for it. So let's see what I can come up with. Little cave is officially done, and I mean, I don't think it's my best work, right? I think it looks a little, oh, dude, this view. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I think it's a little weird. I meant to drop the water down one going into here, so it's maybe a little higher. Maybe we'll change that at some point, but for now, I think the way it blends in kind of with the stone creeping in here and like the combination of the rock and whatnot, and the dirt and everything, I think it works. You know, we do have a little bit of shading like on the roof there. Could maybe be a little bit better, but honestly, like I'm pretty happy with it. And I've been working on this video for a while, and I just kind of wanted to get this done. So maybe this will be something we come back and touch up. Maybe like this needs to be more rocky here, blended in with the moss a little bit better. But I'm pretty happy with it. I like the idea of having like the foliage and stuff. I think the rushing water in the cave looks good. And I haven't done too much. Whoa, sorry about that. Haven't done too much on this side, but actually, I mean, the dirt and stuff, this will need to get, you know, terraformed a little bit, do some more landscaping. But I actually kind of really like the like natural progression of this. Maybe like a couple more pieces of stone, but it looks pretty cool from this side. Obviously, too, I continued the water. Oh, that's cool. The leaves there. But it's you know, bone mealed up. Everything's good. And then we get to this point here. around the crop fields and the farmlands here. And yeah, this is kind of like the home stretch, this last little bit from the cave to here, which is decent size. But you know what? I did all this. This is going to be a walk in the park for me. So hang tight, you guys, and pretty soon we'll be done with the river. And plus, I got one last thing to put all throughout the river that I think is really going to tie it together. Okay, the final stretch of the river is done. So this last little bit, just kind of in the farmlands here in our farming area, is all nice and tidied up. We got a nice little rock here, you know, some more kelp, seagrass, sea pickles, all that good stuff. And I think my favorite part with this is just kind of the edges. I wasn't sure what to do, you know, if I should mix it in a little bit more with the farm and everything and like the crops, but I think this is like a pretty nice compromise. Like you can see from the aerial view, it kind of blends in with like the outline of the leaves and whatnot that we had before. And then there's some glow lichen every now and then, you know, just to make sure this is all spawn proof. I don't want any mobs spawning in the middle of our crop fields. That would be pretty bad. And speaking of blending these edges in, one of the big things I wanted to make sure I did here was kind of blending in the river with, well, this other little river here, right? It kind of spills out into this bigger body of water, which eventually becomes the ocean over there. So I just tried to add in some more seagrass, some more kelp, and you can see the mud that kind of sputters out into here a little bit more, and the sand and dirt kind of makes its way in to our river a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know if I did the best job there, but I'm pretty happy with it. And actually, that means our river is officially done, believe it or not. Well, almost done. There's one last thing we have to add in to really bring this to life. Think about it. What's one thing every good river has that this one is fishing? I mean missing. That's right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and add in some fish here to just kind of really make it feel alive. I'm hoping these guys don't die or despawn. I don't know. Maybe I have to name tag them. But yeah, I think just having some fish here and there, maybe in the safer parts of the river, away from this little bit here, is going to make it just feel a little bit more lifelike. There we go. I just add a few of these guys in here, and I think it feels a lot more lifelike. Final thing I want to do here today is add somebody to the world book, and that is to my friend Robbie, who helped us out last video. He was the artist, if you don't remember. And yeah, just throw him in here as a way to commemorate him and just say thank you for his hard work and his time on last week's video. Also, I appreciate you guys just absolutely crushing it with the views and everything last video. That was a nice little surprise, and I appreciate the support and positivity from that video. That one was a lot of fun to make. So if you want to find your way into the world book here, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you enjoyed about today's video. Tell me what you want to see next. Make me laugh, whatever, anything like that. I love including you guys in the world book here, and I think it's just a fun way for us all to stay connected and make it feel less of like, you know, a single player world. That is going to do it for me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you made it this far along, please go ahead and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on more adventures in the hardcore world here. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.